Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this public meeting of the Princeton Board of Education. The board is an elected, unpaid group of 10 citizens who set policy and make decisions on educational, financial, and personnel matters for the Princeton Public Schools on behalf of all residents. We are always pleased when members of the community attend our meetings. The board and the school district operate under applicable New Jersey laws and under regulations of the New Jersey State Board of Education. Each meeting includes an opportunity for those attending to comment on items on the published agenda or other matters of interest to them. The board reserves the right to limit the time allotted to public participation. Law limits discussion of individual personnel and confidential matters. We hope our meetings provide a useful opportunity for communication between the board and the community. Thank you for attending.
As required under the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-6, adequate notice was given for calling this meeting. It was authorized by the Board of Education and forwarded to the municipal clerk, Princeton Packet, and the Times on January 9th, 2025, and distributed to the schools and others on the standard distribution list. The board reserves the right to enter into executive session during all meetings of the Board of Education. Board Policy 0168, recording devices, requires that we inform those attending this in-person meeting that the proceedings are being recorded. This meeting is being live streamed. The representative of the sending district is authorized to vote on such matters that affect sending district students or affect the governance of the Princeton Public Schools, as more specifically designated in NJSA 18A 38-8.1. Sending district votes pertaining to personnel actions refer to high school, central administrative, and district-wide staff only. Votes otherwise are considered abstentions. In the event that NJSA 18A 38-8.1 is amended, the law shall take precedence over this bylaw. All right. Roll call.
Yes, please.
Beth Behrend, Adam Bierman,
Here.
Mara Franceschi,
Here.
Eleanor Hubbard,
Here.
Catherine Lara,
Here.
Ari Mizell,
Here.
Christopher Santarpio,
Here.
Erica Snyder,
Here.
Susan Cantor,
Here.
Daphne Kendall.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Can I get a motion for the adoption of the minutes for January 27, 2026? Ari, second. Eleanor?
All right. Adam Bierman,
Yes.
Mara Franceschi,
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard,
Yes.
Catherine Lara,
Yes.
Ari Mizell,
Yes.
Christopher Santarpio,
Yes.
Erica Snyder,
Yes.
Susan Cantor,
Yes.
Daphne Kendall.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. We're continuing on with the district business, even though there wasn't any school today, but we're going to have school tomorrow. We are, as long as more snow does not, a lot of snow doesn't fall from the sky. But first, I wanted, I don't control the weather. I wanted to thank our facilities and maintenance staff for the excellent job they did. They were working since yesterday. The Valley Road building was all ready for our meeting today, and so we just want to thank them for working through the copious amounts of snow that were all over the place. So thank you. The first thing on our agenda is recognition for the outstanding achievements of the Princeton High School girls cheerleading team. They were supposed to join us tonight. However, due to the weather, they weren't able to make it. But we are very proud of the students that are part of the high school girls cheerleading team. Dr. LaSousa, myself, and some other board members will be attending Tiger Time to meet with them on Thursday this week to share the following resolution with them. And I guess we'll bring the cake then too, right? Yes. So we wanted to, recognize them. Whereas the Board of Education of the Princeton Public Schools takes great pride in recognizing the exemplary achievements of its student athletes who demonstrate dedication, teamwork, and excellence. And whereas the Princeton High School girls cheerleading team has demonstrated an unparalleled level of commitment and athletic prowess throughout the 25-26 season, and whereas through rigorous training and unwavering school spirit, the team had unprecedented success and qualified for the Universal Cheerleaders National Championship. Whereas the success of this team is a testament to the leadership of the coaches, Coach Callahan, Coach Foreman, and Coach Williams. And whereas these students have served as distinguished ambassadors for Princeton High School, embodying the values of sportsmanship, resilience, and community pride. Now therefore be it resolved that the Princeton Board of Education hereby formally recognizes and commends the Princeton High School girls cheerleading team for their accomplishment, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to the team and permanently recorded in the official minutes of the board as a tribute to their hard work and success. And if they had been able to attend the meeting tonight, we would have them come up and we would shake their hand. So please join me in a round of applause for them. And we always love to celebrate the achievements of our kids. So hopefully we'll have a lot more of that in the spring. I believe some of our teams have done very well and continue to do very well. And that's all I have. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Kendall. I have only one item under my report. I'll get to that in 1 second, but I just do want to mention with the snow, I know a subset of our maintenance crew arrived here yesterday at 3 a.m. That's when they started. So they drove in the teeth of the storm to try to stay ahead a little bit of the accumulations. And then they worked throughout the day yesterday. It may seem like we could have had school today, perhaps, but we still had to get to our bus fleet, which is right outside those windows there. And if you think about removing 10 or 15 inches of snow off of your car, a bus is very tall and long. And so they actually have to pull the buses out of their spots, then plow the area in between the buses where the snow is accumulated, use a certain type of tool. And we don't have like 10 of those. They're not like the ones you get at Walmart to scrape off your car. To get the snow cleared off the roof, then you have to move the buses again and plow all the snow that has been removed from the buses. So it's a lengthy process, time consuming, but the guys really worked hard yesterday to make sure we were in a good place, and then came back today for more. So we're set to open up on time tomorrow. And I just want to echo your sentiments. In terms of the snow days themselves, we have 2 days built in that are currently not student instruction days around Memorial Day weekend. We're going to need to recapture those because of these snow days. If we have more inclement weather and we need to close school again, then we will have to make a more difficult modification, which will be one of 3 things: either have school on a Saturday, have school during spring break, or extend the school year, which is problematic. So none of those are good options, but if we need another day, and hopefully we won't, then we will have to have a discussion about the least bad path. And as a reminder for everyone in New Jersey, there's no such thing as remote instruction. The only circumstance in which school districts can provide remote instruction if they want is if they're closed for 3 consecutive days because of some emergency. And then on the 4th day, with permission from the county superintendent, can they potentially turn to remote instruction. So that's not an option for us at the current time. And we'll have to make the best decision we can depending on what happens, which is hopefully nothing.
So can I ask you a question?
Yep.
So if there is another day of inclement weather, which it seems it's every Monday now, will we discuss it at a board meeting before you make, because the days are far enough in advance that there would be time for discussion before a
Yes.
choice is made?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
That would be an adjustment to the board, the school calendar. So yes. And with that, we'll turn it over to Max Actow, our principal at Riverside, and his faithful PTO compatriots. They've been working for the past several months on zeroing in on the center of the school, which is a courtyard that could use some updating probably. And they've had a vision, I think, for converting that space into one that's a little bit more user-friendly and a little bit more learning-oriented compared to what it is now. So our PTO has been extremely generous, and I turn it over to them to talk about the plans they've been up to.
I'll kick us off.
So Max and Michelle Baxter.
Hi. I'm Michelle Baxter, and I'm here with Shep Kaufman as well, my co-president. I'm the incoming co-president at the Riverside School. I've been a parent there for 7 years. We're very grateful now to have a consistent principal, because for those of you who have a history with Riverside, there was a very well-loved principal for many, many, many years, and a lot of really beautiful programs have come out of his tenure. And then we had many, many years, 5 years maybe. We had maybe 4 or 5 different principals. So we're thrilled now. Max has been in the role for maybe 3 years. And so we're able to do big things. And so I have the honor of coming in as the incoming co-president, and we're in a unique situation. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Of course.
So the type is very small. But what I was starting to say is that we're in a unique position and that we're able to do what I would call a cornerstone project as the PTO. So the notion is that we're going to take this existing space, which had a very unique history as a turtle garden many, many years ago with this former leadership team, and restore that space to its former glory and use it in a way that the teachers have shared that they would love to utilize this. As you can see, it is the center in the upper right-hand corner there. It is the center of our our school campus. And it's uniquely accessed. So I'm going to have Max comment a bit about how we'll use it or how the teachers would like to use it. And then I'll talk a little bit about the future state and the program we're using with Rutgers in partnership with Rutgers to do this.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Max Octow, Principal of Riverside School. Good evening, everybody. So as Michelle mentioned, if you walk into Riverside School, as soon as you walk in, if you go in about maybe 10 steps on your left, you get to our Gallery of Light Walk. On the left is our courtyard. Those pictures on the left is what it looks like right now. It is not used at all. There's a lot of debris. It just isn't used by staff or students. So we were talking to PTO, teacher, staff, some students as well, and said, it's such a beautiful space in the middle of our building. Let's use this space. Let's do something with it. Let's do it, for our kids and community. And then we started talking, and we have a small committee now of teachers getting some student feedback. But basically, from my understanding, as Michelle mentioned, years ago, it used to be a turtle garden. There used to be a pond. A lot of those things have been removed. It's very overgrown now. Teachers have said that they'd like to bring their classes out there, as a space for tranquility, be able to do some instruction. There used to be a decking area where classes would go out. For some meditation, self-care, just various things. Some teachers were talking about having a sensory walk. We talked to our teachers in our special education program and autism for various things, sensory sandbox, sensory walks, a mural we're thinking about doing that also can be student created. So a lot of potential there. We're starting to start small though, because it's, like all things, we can't do everything at once, but we would like to just make it a very viable learning space for our community, and one that we can also use PTO events or after school, or, we have our moving on ceremony and things like that. It's a beautiful space in the middle of the building. So we have some ideas. We're still kicking around ideas, but I think working together, hopefully it'll come to fruition.
So we've partnered with Rutgers. We have a wonderful, actually a parent, not a Riverside parent, but a community park parent, a Princeton parent, that runs the landscape architecture department at Rutgers. And so she's built a curriculum with us around our program. So this is one of 3 concepts that are going to be presented this week. And what you see there are some visuals. What we're talking about is taking this largely barren / non-native plant sort of space and clearing some of the area on the right there. And then on the left, leaving some of the pine trees and putting tables and chairs so that teachers can use this space to gather without students, and that students can use it with and the teachers can use with their classrooms as well. So you'll notice a variety of different ways that the space could be utilized. And I'll just show one more slide. And then here are some AI generated images of the types of features that we would have. So if you remember what it looked like before, the idea is that we'll have raised beds with native plants and pollinators. One of the things our STEAM teacher would like is to have nature cams. So this idea of nature cams that can be out there and used. So it'll be sort of a next level garden, but more of a tranquility space. I love that our STEAM teacher called it a tranquility space. This is not a playground. This is a place that our classes, especially our autism classes, will be able to take advantage of. So that for all these reasons, it was a perfect project for the PTO to come in on, very much like the amphitheater years ago. at JP. It's sort of something special and unique for our autism community and for our Riverside community. So that's it. Thanks for the extra time.
Thanks, everybody.
Question.
Any questions?
I have a question. So
Yeah.
how much money did you raise?
So it's interesting. We had a fundraising, an interesting paradigm. We had a fundraising sort of dip because we didn't have as many families buying party boards, which is traditionally the elementary school way of raising funds, or paying dues. And so we started charging money for clubs. So we have more for our clubs. This is such a hot and in-demand program. These are waitlisted programs for all the elementary schools have this phenomenon. So because of that, and we still do give scholarships to clubs. We have over $65,000 earmarked for this project, maybe even more. So we wanted to do something meaningful with that money, and that's how this project came to be.
That's incredible. How much do you charge for clubs and how long do they run? Just wondering.
They're right around $200, but Shep can comment
Mhm.
more. 6 sessions, a little less than $200. Go ahead.
I'm going from memory because I'm not on the clubs committee anymore. But generally, the clubs, I would say actually the average is around 150 to 175, depending on the club. Some have been as low as 30 or 0. But then the sessions are usually about 7 weeks. Some can be 6. I mean, it depends on the time of year, days of the week, things like that. And then we usually try to leave like we do. We have a week for makeup days because of snow. We'll get some of that in. But yeah, that's our average
And
club.
how many sessions do you run?
Club sessions?
Yeah.
2 or 3.
We now run 3. We didn't used to, but we now try to do all trimesters.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Shep and Michelle, for all your hard work on behalf of.
Sure. I would add one thing on the budget front here.
Yeah.
Part of the reason we have the cash is because there was an intended use last year that did not happen. And so we have rollover funds that we need to use to fulfill our role. So that is one of the reasons for this project as well as some others.
Hold on one second. Eleanor has a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether you have a plan for who will take care
Yeah,
of the
maintenance.
buildings.
Yeah. I got into Andrew's office and we had some asks of the district to help maintain the gardens. A big issue we've had in this space in the past has been the maintenance of the plants. And so we've got, if you noticed in the designs, basically the plantings will be in raised beds so that we'll have them cordoned off, and we'll have to allocate funding for that over time. So there's been money earmarked in the past for maintenance of courtyards, like in the Bill Cirillo gift, but that was really small just for painting the bear and that kind of thing. So we'll have to have a mechanism for maintaining because and we wouldn't have our garden team sort of get involved in having to maintain this as well because our garden at Riverside, as you know, is already over its sort of capacity for the public schools to kind of maintain and fund. So yeah, maintenance is a big consideration in all the designs. Yeah.
And I just want to add that there are trees that have to be taken down. And I think everyone who lives in Princeton knows how expensive it is to take a tree down. And the PTO is taking on that expense as well. We are very grateful for that. So thank you for that.
Sure.
We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank
And
you.
I should mention that Tony is not here tonight, but Tony on Andrew's team is is sort of our arm in arm with us on all of this. We're not working without the district's complete partnership. So
Well, we appreciate it. And let
Yeah.
us please come back and update us
we will.
on the progress.
Thank you. And
Great,
come
thank
visit the
you.
courtyard.
All right. Take care. Thank you. All right. Dr. LaSusa, did you have anything else?
That's it from
That's
me.
it. Okay. Let me see where we are. Oh, student board members report. Hello, Ash and Alani. No school today, but you came too.
Fortunately,
Did you want to come out of the house? No?
I had work before this, so I
Okay.
had to be up. But
Okay. Well, it's nice to see you.
it's nice to see you guys as well. So we're back again to talk about, well, I'm back again to talk about AI. So based on a survey of the students, which we ran, I'll just include a couple data points. So on a scale of 1 to 5, when students asked how much they thought AI has improved their writing skills, 0 to 5, sorry, improved their writing skills, they gave it a 2.4. And then 57% of students think they completely understand the AI policy in their classes. So those were 2 things we were looking for in terms of like if students understand the AI policy.
Could you go back to the first one on improving?
Yeah, so
Their
on a scale of
writing?
0 to 5, students think that using AI has improved their writing skills like as a 2.4 on a scale of 0 to 5.
Okay.
Right. So we were looking at, if they think it's making them a better student or if they don't understand the policy. But generally, from the surveys we've ran with the students, they have a positive view of AI. So we're looking to see, right now we're surveying teachers and asking them how AI is used in their classroom, and also if they use AI when creating assignments or grading and things like that, to see if they have a different experience with students using AI than the students are reporting, obviously, and also how AI usage is impacting not only students in the classroom, but also teachers and how they go about teaching. Yeah.
All right, and for the arts and culture update, last Thursday, the Princeton High School Choir performed a gospel festival with the special guest, Bishop Chantel Wright from NYU. The K-12 art exhibition is now open at the New Mena Gallery at PHS, where students from all the visual arts classes at every Princeton Public School will have their work featured, and it's open until February 27th. The PHS mock trial team has advanced to the final round of the Mercer County mock trial competition. PHS's Ethics Bowl team won their regional tournament and the Northeast tournament, so now they will move on to nationals, where they will compete at the University of North Carolina in April. PHS's musical Legally Blonde will be performed March 12th to 14th, and their tickets are now available to purchase in advance. And last but not least, the girls varsity basketball team has won the first CVC championship in the entire program's history. On Saturday, they played against Notre Dame, and they won 57-52.
Oh, I forgot to add, you should come see the middle school musical, which will be on March 6th. My sister will be Elsa, so you guys should come see it.
Well, actually, a bunch of us are headed over there on the
Oh, yeah?
5th, though. Yeah.
Oh, she's not in that cast.
Sorry, but I'm sure some will be back on the 6th. But we're looking forward to it. All right, thank you very much, and we hope. How many kids responded to the?
Yeah,
AI
so we
survey?
had 1,000 response.
1,000
so
responses.
A lot. Well, okay, what we saw with the responses is that many students had a positive response, but there was probably like 10% of students, I would say, who were very anti-AI integration. And we had like a text box at the end, and almost everybody who responded in the text box, there was probably like 150 responses. Almost all of them were like, we can't have AI integration, like it's terrible. So I would say that it's definitely a polarizing issue among the students, and the students who are against AI. It's not only for them, they definitely see problems with it outside of their classes, but that's just from like the anecdotal evidence that we get.
So it'll be interesting to see what the teachers say, right? All right, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, we're moving on now. Public forum. If anyone here has any comment, yep, come on up. Just say your name, the street you live on.
My name is Vincent Viola. I live on Duffield Place. So I want to recognize the significant care and effort that's gone into establishing a dual language program within PPS. I know the logistics of planning and operationalizing such a program are challenging, to say the least, but it is an exceptional opportunity for some families and a proud differentiator for the district. Tonight, however, in the spirit of continuous improvement, I'm here to raise concern about how placement into this unique program is communicated and applied, particularly for families establishing residency in Princeton for the first time. In early summer 25, my family purchased a home in Community Park boundary zone so that our children could attend the DLI program. In making that decision, we spoke directly with district representatives about the process and reviewed the district's published enrollment materials. Based on that information, we understood that in-zone residency and prior Spanish skills meaningfully affected placement priority, and that while the lottery for open seats would be held that May, a limited number of seats would remain available for families relocating into CP between May and September. So we moved. However, after relocating to Princeton and enrolling in PPS, we learned that all of the DLI kindergarten seats had been assigned at time of lottery. We were reassured, however, after reviewing public information on the website, that while we may have to wait a year, the program admitted new students in both kindergarten and first grade. However, we've subsequently learned that neither in-zone residency nor Spanish language background will affect the first grade entry priority. Instead, it will be the kindergarten waitlist that carries forward unchanged, which will be used to determine availability of seats for the first grade class. As a result, families who establish residency within CP after May are effectively excluded from the DLI program, not just for 1 year, but indefinitely. This outcome is not clearly communicated in the district's public materials, and it does not align with the expectations those materials reasonably create for families making the very significant decision to live in Princeton. More broadly, this exclusion issue is not unique to my family. Given the length of the wait list, demand clearly exceeds available capacity. Yet the current process both limits access and creates the perception of opportunity that does not in practice exist for incoming families. I respectfully ask the district to review both its public-facing language and its placement practices to ensure they accurately reflect realistic access pathways to the program, and where appropriate, to consider whether adjustments to capacity or enrollment processes are warranted so that access expectations and program designs are better aligned. Thanks for your time, and I appreciate this being entered into the public record.
If you just hold on 1 minute, we appreciate your coming out tonight. Dr. Tu or Dr. LaSousa, I think can respond or provide some information.
I will defer to Dr. Tu, but this question also came up at one of the information sessions with parents that I attended. And if my memory serves, the principal at the time reinforced that the wait list is not reshuffled, that the wait list created upon entry into kindergarten remains the same wait list into first grade. And then they proceed down the list, and anyone who's joined the district after the initial wait list is created is just put at the end of the wait list. I can look sort of more carefully at all the documentation that has gone out and that's forward facing. I don't know if Dr. Tu has any other information that I don't.
Yes, I'm sorry, I don't know your specific case, but I can talk to our registrar and make sure that everything is being communicated accurately, both in this district office as well as at Community Park, and making sure that any documentation, as you said, is clear as possible. So I appreciate the feedback.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment? No. All right, moving on. Now we have our board committee reports, and we're starting long-term planning with Susan Canner.
Hi, I'll be doing the first two committee reports. So the first one was long-term planning. We met February 16th at 1 p.m. on Zoom. We opened with discussing the fact that pre-construction meetings have been scheduled for two projects set to begin this summer. Project 5607, the PMS HVAC replacements, and Project 5559A, the site upgrades at certain elementary schools. These projects were very exciting to report. We'll move now to operations, as they'll be off the long-term planning and move to actual projects on board. On deck for next month's meeting are approvals for the PMS middle school additions, the CP renovation additions, and the admin team is still working through resolving any issues before placing them on the agenda. Upcoming bids to be received include the Little Brook part of our referendum, as well as the PHS renovations and the PHS HVAC renovations. And we're very excited, as we reported last meeting, that we have an RFP out for solar energy for all of our buildings, and that probably will not be on an agenda till April if we receive successful bids. We then had a discussion to begin planning for future demographic studies in preparation for potential future redistricting. Those discussions will continue, and next month we will meet on March 10th at 1 p.m. in closed session.
All right, thank you, Susan. Next up is personnel with Chris.
You want to do operations?
I'm sorry, I thought that was operations too. I thought you said you're shifting.
No.
Sorry. Susan, operations.
Operations, we began with what the updates from long-term planning. Then in sustainability, Jenny Ludmer indicated that she's working on a summary of sustainable projects throughout the district. We also thank Sustainable Princeton for their efforts on the RFP for the solar project out now. And the district also will receive two $2,000 grants to assist with gardens at CP and Little Brook. The operations part of the agenda, we discussed the Riverside project that we all got an update on before, and HVAC issues the staff has been working on repairing, and also work the district is doing to improve staffing for our custodial staff. Finance, we received an update of our referendum balances, our monthly transfers, and the work being done in preparation to put together the budget for the next calendar year. Tonight, we'll be awarding 2 contracts, one for routing software and one for GPS and radios for buses. That contract will be for 5 years. In technology, we got a successful report on the PHS cafeteria HV project, and it's receiving excellent reviews. And they are beginning to work on the PA system upgrade in all schools, and that will be done over the next several months. We're still finalizing the date of our next operations meeting, so stay tuned.
All right, thank you. Before we move on, our next board meeting is March 17th, where you're going to present the preliminary budget. However, I don't know if you could speak to the delays with the state and how that will impact us and what the plan is.
Yes, so originally, Governor Cheryl was slated to deliver her budget address today, actually, and then state law requires that school districts are notified of all of their state aid notices within 48 hours, which would have meant that Thursday we would have received our notices. The budget address is being delayed by 2 weeks, so we will not receive our state aid notices for 2 weeks from this Thursday. However, the published calendar that the Department of Education adopts every year and disseminates has our the final date or deadline of our preliminary budget submittal occurring on or before March 19th. So as of this moment, we expect our state aid figures on March 12th, and then we need to have a final preliminary budget ready by March 19th, which would happen at our March 17th board meeting. So we haven't had any notification yet from the DOE. Obviously, it's been an unusual week with the storm, but it's possible that the DOE will prolong our window for approving a preliminary budget. And if that happens, the board could hypothetically change the date of the March 17th board meeting to a later date to afford us a little bit more time than the 5 days that we anticipate right now between March 12th and March 17th for developing the budget and presenting it. So there's been no determination made, but that is something, and I know that a couple of board members would have a problem potentially with either the final week in March, which is our spring break, or the week before. I think at least one person is traveling. So we'll have to work that out.
So are you waiting for the numbers to work on the budget, or are you working on the budget?
No, we're working on the budget, of course, furiously, but we can't adopt a preliminary budget without state aid notifications. And there's a lot of speculation this year that there could be more variability than there's been in the past 7 years with S2 being implemented this current time.
And what is S2?
S2 was a bill enacted in 2017, I think, or 18, that essentially returned New Jersey to CIFRA, which is the state funding formula. Under Governor Christie, the state had veered away from the funding formula, which created dramatic imbalances in how much aid state districts were supposed to receive. So there was a 7-year ramp up. 6 of those 7 years, Princeton received more aid than it had the prior year. Last year was the first year in 7 that Princeton received less aid, with a reduction of about 3%. And this year, there's anticipation, given some of the language that's been coming out of the current administration, that there's going to be further reductions or volatility in state aid allocations.
Like plus or up or down? If
Down.
you have to down? Okay.
Flat or down.
Okay. So if you had to guess, one or the other?
I'm hoping for flat.
Okay.
And we're basing our base scenario as flat. But I don't want to I'll get into the weeds at the next meeting.
Yes.
Last year, what happened was the commissioner and the governor in the budget address, they implemented a procedural maneuver, which is that in the budget address, they put limits to how much districts could lose or gain in state aid. That is not part of S2, and it had not been done in the prior 7 years. And that was something that happened in the budget, but was not legislated. So that goes away. Princeton should have lost more than 3% of its state aid last year.
Mhm.
It didn't because there was a cap. And the problem and the reason why doing what they did last year was somewhat unsustainable is now the imbalances are greater than they otherwise would have been. So districts couldn't receive more than 6%. Districts couldn't receive less than 3%. If you received a haircut of 3%, that haircut is anticipated to be greater this year because you have to catch up for what you didn't lose last year.
All right, well, I'm just going to go on the record and say that it's going to be flat because it would be very stinky for the state to give us 5 days notice that they're going to cut our funding by more than 6%. So I'm just going to go on the record with that.
Agreed.
Yeah, thank you.
But we have to remember that with S2, there were districts that were losing 25% of there are districts that have lost 60% of their state aid
I
over
mean,
the
it's
last
terrible.
7 years, and they
It's
didn't
terrible.
have any extra notification. They had the typical, timeline, and that's why you've got some districts that are in a world of hurt. One of the reasons. There are many.
Well, if we're worried about impacts to children, again, it would be stinky for the state to reduce our state aid by any percentage with so little notice. It is February 24th. So anyway, let's hope that doesn't happen.
We hope it doesn't happen. There are other, we'll get into the weeds next meeting.
All right,
But,
I like to
the
preview.
Murphy administration
Yeah.
also has made a centerpiece of their entire administration, the rollout of pre-K and universal pre-K. There's a lot of money in pre-K. This district in Princeton, we were able to dramatically expand pre-K access as a result of that funding. I mean, that's exclusive PEA, as it's known, funding, Preschool Education Expansion Act. And that's another place that some people wonder, does this governor have the same level of commitment as the prior governor?
To children.
Hopefully she
Let's hope.
does.
Let's hope. All right. Well, so anyway, stay tuned.
Stay
And
tuned.
we'll update any change to the board meeting on the website. Okay. All right. Moving on now to personnel with Chris.
We held a personnel meeting on February 3rd. We discussed procedures on the upcoming non-tenured staff renewals. We also discussed other confidential personal matters, and our next meeting is March 10th at 9 a.m. And just a quick congratulatory for 26 years of service here at PPS to Dr. Susa Stentz.
And we should have had a cake, but
Next time.
well, we have to put Dr. Lasusa in front of the cake. All right, in charge of the cake. Anyway, next up is policy, and I'm guessing Ari.
The policy committee met virtually on February 10th. We approved first reads for policy and regulation 2535, library material, a new policy required by the Freedom to Read Act, as well as several items from policy alert 236, revised policies on nepotism and superintendent employment, a new consolidated sexual harassment, staff policy and regulation, and the abolishment of the separate teaching staff and support staff sexual harassment policies and regulations that the new consolidated policy replaces. We also approved 4 second reads for board vote tonight: resource material, public complaints, school district travel, and the abolishment of the public complaints regulation. The committee also discussed cell phone and technology policy, content monitoring, and field trip policy, and will continue those conversations at our next meeting on March 3rd.
All right, thank you, Ari. Next up is Eleanor with student achievement.
Thank you. SAC met on February 12th at 1 o'clock. And first, we had several field trip improvements, one for the choir at Cantus, and then 3 language trips that will take place next year for Latin, Spanish, and Japanese. And all those field trips are up on the agenda for approval tonight. Then we went into closed session and we discussed various topics, including proposed improvements to the PMS exploratory program, where the hope is eventually to provide some kind of choice for 8th graders. We also discussed an MOU with Fairground Farms. This would be a community-supported agriculture program that would hopefully result in resources for our food education and nutrition programs, and that MOU is on the agenda. And we also examined the financial protocols for our summer courses, in sort of math and science, and those are on the agenda as well. The next SAC meeting, I'm not sure if it's on the 16th or the 17th. Have we decided?
It was in the update. I think we haven't decided.
It's pending.
It's
It
It'll
is
be-
pending.
And it will be updated on the website when, right? It'll be on the website? Yeah, but we'll update the website for the meeting. Can I ask you, are you done?
Yeah, no.
Oh, can I ask you a great report? Can I ask you a question about, just so I'm not, could you go back?
Is it about field trips?
Oh, no, the summer course policy.
Mhm.
What are we changing?
We're changing the dates at which people would have to drop out of the program to receive refunds. In the past, that the refund policy has been extremely generous, and people have gotten, full or pretty full refunds after remaining in those courses for a fair amount of time. And this presents a difficulty for the district because by that point, all the expenses have already been incurred. So people are still able to get refunds if they make up their minds early enough. But we think that the new process makes more sense.
So it was like you could go through half the summer, right?
Yeah, it was
And-
pretty extreme.
And so
Yeah.
now we're
Mhm.
just the first week. If
Yeah.
it's not going to work out, is that right? The first week? Bless you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. I
And the
appreciate
high school administration was thankful for the board's feedback about, having very clear guidelines about that. So that will be coming out probably next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to make sure we highlight that so people are aware. And we will, I guess, on any communication indicate what the policy is.
Yeah, there's like a calendar, like a chart.
Great.
That says,
Fantastic.
by Memorial Day, full refund kind of thing.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And now going back to Susan for trifecta with equity.
Hi, we met February 10th at 6 p.m. in the evening. We received a report from our family liaisons, and they discussed the needs that they support with our 580 free and reduced lunch families. They discussed how the needs differ from each student and how language can often be a barrier for families to access the services that are available. And we ended with a discussion of how our district can better serve these families and how our community partners can also maybe step up and help support these families. We have not set yet a date for our next meeting. We'll keep you posted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for your great reports tonight. Moving on now to the business part of the agenda. Just stop me if you have any comments or want to discuss. But we're going to 10A, which is policy, first and second readings that Ari mentioned. Then moving on to B, personnel. We have B1, we don't have any retirements. B2, resignation. B3, appointments. B4, transfer reassignment. B5, personnel item. B6, leave of absence. B7, substitute student placements. B8, curriculum and instruction. B9, student services. B10, athletics. B11, sixth period compensation. And B12, grievance resolution. Moving on to curriculum and instruction. C1, student overnight trips that Eleanor mentioned. C2, memorandum of understanding, which Eleanor mentioned. And C3, summer programs. D1 is out of district tuition. And then we have E, the business, finance, plant, transportation operations. We have E1 contracts. E2 financial reports. Need a motion, please? Ari, second Mara.
Adam Bierman,
Yes.
Mara Franceschi,
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard,
Yes.
Catherine Lara.
Question. There's some that are high school related, others that are not. Do I have to abstain specifically with the ones or just say vote and then you guys decide?
I would say vote and
Yeah.
Got it.
Because it says in that whatever your vote doesn't pertain to, it doesn't count.
Got it.
Sorry.
So yes.
thank you. Ari Mizell,
Yes.
Christopher Santarpio,
Yes.
Erica Snyder,
Yes.
Susan Cantor,
Yes.
Daphne Kendall.
Abstain.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Moving on to E3, fire and evacuation drills. E4, funds transfer. E5, registration and travel agenda. And what are we on? E6, request for proposal that Susan mentioned. And now we're moving on to our second public comment. And There's only one member of the public here who's a reporter who does not wish to make a public comment. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so now we'll move on to the consent vote. Can I please have a motion? Chris, second. Ari?
Okay. Starting with Adam Bierman,
Yes.
Mara Franceschi,
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard,
Yes.
Catherine Lara,
Yes.
Ari Mizell,
Yes.
Christopher Santarpio,
Yes.
Erica Snyder,
Yes.
Susan Cantor,
Yes.
Daphne Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. So this is the end of our meeting, and 7:57, we had a late start. Our next meeting will not be this short. And any updates to the meeting will be on the website as soon as we get some guidance from the state. So with that, wish you all good night. Drive home safely. The roads are a little icy. Just got an alert.
Motion to adjourn.
I wanted to make sure. Everyone, no, I am. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Chris, second. Mara, all in favor? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.